All right, ready?
Just about. Okay.
This week on Erotic Awakening, Naughty Revival, classes, and dirty talk.
Welcome to Erotic Awakening, an exploration of all things erotic. If you are offended by adult topics or prohibited by law, we recommend you stop listening right now.
We want to thank our latest patron supporters:
Jen,
Tonette,
Lady to Kitten,
Humpnet, Hunipet,
I think it's Honey Pet. I think it's Honey Pet. Yeah, and Jennifer. Thanks so much for your support. You guys keep us going.
Wow, that is a lot of people joining the Patreon. Really appreciate that. You can hear your name in that spot if you head over to patreon.com/erotic awakening, and you'll get all kinds of cool bonus content and support the show.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dawn. How are you this fine day?
I am tired. I had a weekend where I flew to Albuquerque and saw Big D.
You did.
I did. So had a great time, but that's a lot of traveling right on top of us just coming back from Naughty Revival in Minneapolis. So one weekend Minneapolis with all the polypod, and then the next, oh, except Big D, and then the next weekend I got to fly to Albuquerque and see Big D.
And we are currently at about 3 hours away from Phoenix, Arizona, which is
Yes.
where the big airport is. So all of our drives or all of our flights add in that 3 hour drive at the end or at the beginning, which just makes it all the much longer.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, it was, yes. At least it's an easy drive.
And so, as you mentioned, we just came back from the Naughty Revival
We
in
did.
Minnesota, and a lot of people have been asking us about it because it is a little bit of a different event. And we wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about it because it is indeed a different kind of event.
It is. So we have done this event before at a
Mhm.
different hotel. This is a takeover hotel, a takeover event at a hotel. They had 900 people at this hotel this time. And the hotel that they had this time was like a convention center
Yep.
sort of thing, a convention hotel. So it had so many, I was going to say anemonies. I don't think
Mm,
that's how you pronounce
that's a
that.
good word. That's good enough.
Amenities, anemones, sea
I think
enemies. I don't
it's
know.
not sea enemies. I'm sure anemone.
Amenities. Yeah.
Either way,
Extras.
I'm sure the editor will catch that and fix that in
Oh,
post.
yeah, sure I will.
Yeah. So, like you said, 900 attendees plus. Obviously, you have a lot of staff, and in this case, for this particular event, one of the things that they have that I guess I'm gonna have to say it's the only event we go to. Well, I was going to say they have a lot of performers. They have a lot of
Yes.
people doing performances, whether it's BDSM performances or um, good old fashioned burlesque type of
Oh,
dancing.
yeah, the strip dancing and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But they also, not only do they bring in performers, they also set up a stage at this hotel. The last hotel, the stage was in a different place. But this hotel, it was right in the lobby to where if you had a scene that you wanted to do in front of everybody, you could do it right in the lobby. What
Yeah,
wasn't there like a vet human chattel
there
some sort of
was.
scene?
Yes.
I got to see a recollaring on that
Oh, did you?
stage.
I didn't get to see that.
Yep, so got to see that. There was supposed to be, I heard there was a wedding on that stage. So they had a couple of other things besides scenes,
Hmm.
but that is something that makes it stand out. I mean, there's a couple of things that make it stand out, right?
Yeah.
So there's the stages, the performers.
The very size of the place. As you said, it was not just a hotel takeover, but it was a hotel attached to a convention center, full takeover, which means if, as a matter of fact, I did this on a couple times, situations where it was, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, it was the full polypod, almost the full polypod. It was,
All of your people were there. Most of your people were there.
yes.
And yeah.
And we had two different rooms. The point being, the rooms weren't particularly close, but I could still walk from one room to the other in my
Hmm.
underwear. I could have walked naked
You
if I
could have
wanted
walked
to.
naked.
So full hotel takeover means one of the differences, and people that listen to the podcast know we're big fans of KK, Kinky College up in Chicago.
Hmm.
But all these events, the difference being is you are never out of event space. Even when you go to your room to take a nap, it's only while you're in your room that you're not officially in event space. And so for a 72-hour event, you've really got your mind in space the whole time. It's a really cool
Right.
experience.
Right. With the hotel takeovers, of which KK is not. So,
Right.
with
So Naughty Revival, that's the experience. Where
right.
where Kinky College, it's a wonderful event and it's all they've got the entire downstairs taken
Hmm.
over. But if it's time to go for a nap or to go get a snack or something, you're actually leaving event space. So you have to kind of do this little integration and unintegration over and over again.
Make sure you're dressed, make sure,
Right.
right? Remember that the people in the elevator are vanillas more than likely, and just because they're wearing a name badge, they could be there for something else
So as
with KK
absolutely, we've
and
had that
others.
situation.
Yes.
So as we go through just talking about Naughty Revival, I want to make it clear that at this point we have no skin in the game.
Oh, absolutely not. So,
We've been fortunate to be present there 2 different years, but at this point the presenter selection stuff is over. So now we're just the straight up normal review.
straight up normal review.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'll say right off the bat, Thursday night, because you and I are were there as presenters,
Hmm.
there was a presenter gathering, and it was really neat to see the presenters that they picked. It wasn't, I don't know how to say this, but I don't mean it to be negative, but it wasn't the same people that we see
All
all
the
over the
time.
place.
Right, right.
There was a really cool mix of people that had a ton of experience and people that had much less experience that were getting their feet wet. It was neat to see that the event supported both sides of that.
Right. And diversity and a lot of women.
Hmm.
And, so they go out of their way to do that. The other thing that they did Thursday night with the presenters in this gathering is instead of just mingling and, eating pizza and stuff like that, which would have been fine, they had us all sit down and then introduce ourselves and state which classes
Hmm.
that we were going to be teaching. So that was phenomenal, so that you can put faces with names and things like that from the program book, who was who, because so many of us didn't know each other, right?
Right.
I think we knew two other presenters and that was it.
I want to highlight something you mentioned was wow, the diversity of the presenters as
Mhm.
far as demographics, all across the board, whether it's people of color or ages, all over the place. We had a great diversity in the presenting group. So I thought that was pretty neat to see.
Absolutely. Great topics, great. They had us doing weird classes, which was awesome, right? So we had
Yeah, our classes were a little microcosm of the event
uh-huh,
in that we had a standard BDSM class. We had a spiritual ritual class.
uh-huh.
We had a deep personal growth journey class.
Mhm.
And then we had a power exchange slash polyamory class.
Right.
So if you're there for rope, great, you got it. But if you're there for something more meaty, something more reflective, you got that as well.
Yeah, so because our ritual class was the ordeal ritual class, we had actually interviewed our demo bottom a couple of weeks ago and renegotiated with her during the class, talked about ordeal ritual, did some stories of things that we've participated in, and then did like a 10-minute quickie deep ordeal ritual with her that went fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was just that sort of atmosphere where that was like allowed and cultivated. I mean, they actually had flesh suspensions
Yes.
in the dungeon. You could sign up for a flesh suspension. There was a little cost to it because there's supplies involved, but that was phenomenal. And during one of our classes, our personal growth class, we told people, we're like, if not now, when?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that one of those attendees actually did the flesh hook suspension?
No, I did not.
Yes. So he had had an opportunity to do it before, and he's one of the ones that came to all of our classes.
Okay.
And he had an opportunity to do it before and kind of put it aside, listened to some of our stories about if not now, when, and went ahead and did
Oh,
it.
cool.
And
Good for
said he
him.
had a blast and that people enjoyed watching him doing that.
Good.
So, yeah, there's all kinds of opportunities. This is also an event that actively involves swingers
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and they have a swinger suite. We know of a couple of events that do this, but that is one of the things that helps set this event apart.
Yeah. Because we're not just here to blow positive smoke. Did you visit the swinger suites at all?
I did, and there wasn't a lot of action
Mm-hmm.
when I was going by, but it was available. There was facilitators outside of the room to help welcome people in and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So only because we taught 4 classes and a little tired, and spending time with the polypod is probably why I didn't interact. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I went up to the swinger suite on two different occasions, and for me, I couldn't. Okay, granted, I am not the target audience. I am not a swinger, but I couldn't really grasp what the flow was supposed to be, and it was there. It was this spot for gathering, and this spot was for fucking. I could
Right.
tell what the fucking spots were, but I wasn't sure how to interact and meet people that were there for that. So that's something that if you're a swinger, you probably saw the signs. I didn't.
Well, we're bad at that. We never know when we're supposed to be mingling and when we're supposed
Yeah.
to be fucking. That's why we're bad swingers. But
And I will say, more exciting to me than the swinger suite was the rooms next door to it. They had two separate rooms set aside for board
for
games.
board
Yeah,
games,
that's really
right?
more
And
my
I
speed.
did, and I did, yeah. So I did see that that was going on. But again, I was so busy wandering because it was so huge and there was so much stuff to see. They had Naughty Santa Claus set up.
Hmm.
They had the vendors open for more hours than most places.
Absolutely.
So you could wander through there. They had equipment set up downstairs, the main floor, in the racquetball court.
Yeah.
They had.
And that's one of the things I want to highlight that I've never seen before. Not only, and it wasn't just that they had a exercise room, they had an entire fitness club attached to the convention center,
Hmm.
which meant the convention center was events, or I'm sorry, the athletic club was convention space and therefore kink space, part of the
Absolutely.
event. And we were told somebody was in the going to do scenes in the racquetball courts. I didn't get to see those, unfortunately,
No.
but those sounded fun.
They were going to tape somebody to a wall and bounce racquetballs
Yes.
off of them.
And I will say, because it's an entire weekend event, two of the things that I really appreciated was there was a gym and there was a
Hmm.
pool and there was a hot
Oh,
tub.
I spent a long time in the hot tub one
Mm-hmm.
night and some time in the pool. So even though there was 900 people, it was never super crowded.
Mm-hmm.
People were too busy partying, but there was a good crowd when I went down there to the hot tub, had really good
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah, and it was a really nice social space as well.
Oh,
It looked like.
absolutely. Yes.
And I'm not a gym rat per se, but over the course of a weekend, I still like to get my walks in or maybe do a tiny bit of lifting. And it was great to have the gym there as well. But the other thing that really made it for me, and this is just, you know, was it the fucking? Was it the flesh hooks? Was it the great classes? No, it was the breakfast.
I have that on my list.
Yeah.
See? If you had a room at the hotel,
Hmm.
you got this amazing breakfast.
Yeah, and we're not talking a quality in box of Cheerios and, powdered eggs. This is a quality breakfast.
Bacon was so good.
Hmm. Two kinds of eggs, hash brown, fruit, what you would expect from a quality hotel, to serve a quality um, breakfast. And then on Sunday, still event space, they rose it up a level and included an omelet chef and a brunch and all
Hmm.
this other stuff.
Absolutely. So we were able to feed ourselves before getting on the road,
Yep.
coming back to Phoenix, and driving to Yuma.
And again, part of it for me is the immersion into the event. So they had a
Hmm.
hotel, restaurant on site, which great food, or you could always order DoorDash, and as some people did, just had DoorDash deliver food to you.
To the door.
Yeah,
They couldn't get past the
right,
curtains into
right.
the lobby. So,
Great security. I'm going to
mhm.
highlight that. Just something I thought of. I mean, they took security seriously.
And you could find staff.
Yep. Oh,
They
yes.
had a little fishbowl room where they had one staff room that had the sign on the door, don't disturb,
Mm-hmm.
right? If they had, private things to do or whatever. But then they had the little business center where you could
Mm-hmm.
go in and ask questions if you wanted to. There was always somebody at the entry table and always somebody in the fishbowl if you had questions.
And then there was one more station over where the classes were. at that little
Oh,
curved desk.
right. Exactly. So we were able to go to the front desk and say, "Where's our class?" And they're like, "You are at blah, blah, blah."
Hmm.
They were all prepped for questions.
I will also mention one of the things that is just worth mentioning for people that might be thinking about going: drinking. It's a drink friendly event.
Mhm.
So they had a bar on site. And, if you think, I think that maybe that, I don't know. It depends. A lot of events we go to don't allow drinking. A lot of events we go to do allow drinking. You've decided what's up for your taste. I didn't notice a lot of drunkenness. I didn't notice any drunkenness in any play space.
Yeah, no, not in any play space at all. So, and they were very clear about that, that they would not allow that.
Hmm.
So, but fabulous. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So there you go. Thumbs up from us for Naughty Revival. Absolutely great job of putting that together.
Hmm.
I mean, one of the indicators for us how we felt about it is 5 months from now, when they start thinking about who they want to bring in as presenters, we're going to see if we can get 3 years in a row.
Absolutely. So we'll put in our name into the hat and
Yep.
see if it gets drawn again. So, though we won't take it personally if it's not, it'll be a third year in a row.
And yeah, absolutely would not take that personally at all. And man, I might even try and get talked into going just to go. There were
Ooh.
so many classes that I were so interested in.
Oh, and we were teaching so much that we
Yeah,
didn't get to get
any.
didn't get
I
to
didn't get to any.
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 No, there was one I really wanted to go to, which was about energetic flogging. It
Mm-hmm.
was about flogging with energy, not a flogger. And you know me, anything energy I wanted to do, but it was the last class slot of the day, and I was wiped.
Yep.
So I needed to go.
If
Needed to
you
go to
de-
sleep.
if you decide to go to Naughty Revival next year, and we are going to Naughty Revival, you could actually have a chance to have a cup of coffee with us if you knew we were going. But how in the
Absolutely.
world would you know if we're going or not?
Or anywhere else, like Apex in December. That's actually coming up on Monday.
It is.
I
Or Cure in Columbus in January,
Intrigue and Indy in February.
or Tulsa in June.
So you would figure these things out, right? Keep up with all our events, book news, discounts, and more via the Erotic Awakening newsletter.
And get your EA shout out like Josh from New York.
And art from Maryland.
Head over to eroticawakening.com and subscribe today.
Indeed. So, people know that one of the things that we like to do off and on over the years is to discuss different kinks from a kink list.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing that for a little bit, a few weeks back, a few months back. And then I cleaned up our show notes and deleted the list. So, I'm not sure what list we were using.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really like to find a really comprehensive kink list. When I Google, I get the same list over and over
Yeah.
again that shows bondage and sex positions and how do you like your bondage and things like that. I would like a list with all the weird shit. Like, and I say weird, but that's not what I mean. But the
Interesting, different.
interesting and different, unique, like the fetish for high heels, like the fetish for trampling and ball busting and, hue cows like we did on the last
Mm-hmm.
show. I would like a list of all of that to talk about.
How about harpoxophilia?
What's harpoxophilia? And I have to write that down. So,
The fetish for being robbed.
Poxophilia, the fetish for being robbed. See, unique. I would
Yeah.
never have thought of that. Thought of that.
Yep.
So do you have a list and I don't need to be asking for it?
No, you should still ask for it.
Okay, so if anybody's got a really good, unique list, send it to Dan and Dawn at eroticawakening.com so that we can both see it. Because one of the things that I like to do with this is we have social media. We have a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have a Facebook page. I usually use Instagram and I create graphics to go with these kinks. And then I put the podcast, a link to the podcast that we talk about it on the graphic. And that's just so other people can learn about these as well.
Fantastic. You know what, Dawn? By the way, I'm going to give you what do you call it? A preview
Okay.
of what we're going to cover next week.
Ooh.
29 vital techniques to suck a cock like a porn star.
Okay, so that's kind of funny. 29, I have to write it down and we'll forget we're going to do it. 29 techniques for blowjobs. Yay! So, because I have talked before about how I have not had a class on blowjobs,
Hmm.
because to me, the number one technique is mindfulness.
Right.
So hopefully I remember to say that next time around when we talk about blowjobs. But again, if you have a list, great.
And you mentioning, we've reviewing this kink list. Apparently, not too long ago, we talked about naughty talk.
We did. So we talked about Naughty Talk. I also taught a class and recorded a class last week, I think it was. And someone had a anecdote about that, in that they said, and in regards to dirty talk, I still remember the night at a swing club when my partner and I were chatting up a couple, and when partner blurted out, "I bet you have a beautiful cunt." End of opportunity with that couple. And if you choose to tell the story, don't use our names. So, but kudos to the female partner for being able to say the word cunt.
Do you remember?
It just was blurted out instead of naughty and flirty.
Yes. It's really interesting when you think about naughty talk. You got to know your audience, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes, I bet you have a beautiful cunt would work for some situations for some people. Oh, golly. I remember years and years ago, we were on somebody else's podcast and there was there was a panel discussion,
Hmm.
and someone said that they were given the compliment about their beautiful skin. And they said that was a that was a deal breaker for me. That being judged by my skin was very annoying and very
Kind of like
inappropriate.
objectified, maybe?
Yeah,
Like their skin
yeah.
color shouldn't be a fetish,
Well, it's not
or
even their skin color, it's just their beautiful skin.
oh,
It
just
was really,
just
yeah.
skin in general, like eyes or something like that.
The point being, if you're going to practice dirty talk, you never know, right? Sometimes things are going to be taken because everybody has their own reality.
Right, exactly, exactly. So, but like you said, it could have worked in that one, but did not. So, anyway, a thing about stuff that we're doing, right? If anybody has been paying attention to the classes that I've been offering for the last 2.5 years, I've been putting some new classes out there on Zoom. I'm talking about the online classes.
Hmm.
But this month, also started guided meditations. So I got
Nice.
two this month. One is balancing chakras. I just did that yesterday. And the other is going to be finding our spirit guides. And these are
Hmm.
about prepping for 2025.
Nice.
So some of us, I'm sure, are a little nervous about what 2025 is going to hold for us. So why not start with a clear slate and find a guide and, have
I,
a little bit of support?
Absolutely. And I actually appreciate the fact that you put the energy and time into recording a lot of these classes and making them available to the general public. Some people don't have either, they can't get to an event to watch us teach, or they may be just not available when we're available when we're teaching a class online. And,
Right.
you take the energy to edit and clean them up, and then right now you're selling them for $5, which I think is more than fair,
Hmm.
considering the amount of effort you put into them and the amount of information that we're sharing. So
So
kudos
thank
to you.
you. Thank you. So we do have 10 classes at the moment. I may be uploading more tomorrow. And those are $5 a piece on sale for the holidays. Now, I also want to mention, though, that on our YouTube channel, which I think is Erotic Awakening Podcast on YouTube,
Hmm.
we also have a couple of free classes.
No, people should go check
So,
that shit
yes.
out.
So, between the free classes and the $5 classes, you guys should be set. And also keep an eye on the newsletter for January classes that I'll be scheduling soon.
And we
So,
roll it all the way back to the beginning of the show and say, hey, patrons, you're getting a bunch of this stuff for free.
absolutely. So, they get all the guided meditations for free. Anybody that is $5 a month and up, they're automatically getting those for free, and they get discounts. They get one free, no, some of them get more than that. So, free classes and discounted classes for you guys.
What more could anyone want?
Indeed. So, tentacles and food on boobs?
Yes.
It's not food on boobs, but Ohio Hedgehog sent me a link to a Tom and Jerry cartoon,
Okay.
and it's about a cannoli, which is a cream stuffed pastry,
Okay.
giving the mouse, I always forget if that's Tom or Jerry. I think it's Jerry.
Yes, Jared the
Tom
mouse.
the cat and Jerry the mouse. Jerry gets a cream pie in his face.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, oh my God, there's so much adult content on kid cartoons. But that is on I put the link on our Discord channel. That is the not safe for work for the patrons. So you can see that. And there's a lot of other random pictures, everything from werewolves to vampire bites to tentacles to, the whole thing. So that was a little fun.
That was pretty neat. Okay. So there you go. There is the podcast for the day.
And this is 716. How's that for crazy? So you guys may have noticed that we've kind of like not been doing it every week at the moment. We're still trying to get energetically caught up with everything we're doing, but we are doing our best. And man, after 700 shows, if you guys have any topics, feel free to throw it out to us.
And it really helps our energetic connection when you guys support us on Patreon and get early access to the ad-free version of the podcast, free version of the audio book Polyamory Toolkit, free ebook, discount on multi-Zoom classes, member-only discount access, and more.
Find all the goodies at patreon.com/Erotic Awakening today.
Help others find us. Take a moment to support the podcast.
Rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Or just tell your friends.
Join the conversation with us and other listeners.
Use the links on the Erotic Awakening website for our growing Discord channel.
Feel free to reach out to us. We love talking to you.
Contact us with questions, podcast comments, or just to say hi.
We are Dan and Dawn on FetLife.
And Erotic Awakening on Instagram.
Or just email us at dananddawn@eroticawakening.com.
Bye, Dawn.
Bye, Dan.